What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Supreme Tech. Today I'm going to show you how to make selections. I'm going to show you a lot of different ways. There's probably one, two, three. There's probably at least 10 different ways how to make selections in Photoshop. I'm not going to get too in depth on each one, but I'm going to do a quick rundown on all the different ways you can make selections. And then I'm going to be making different videos on each specific one, or most of the specific ones. I'm not going to do every single one. I'm going to do the most important ones. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video so you don't miss a thing. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and smash that like button. Turn on the post notifications so you know exactly when I come out with brand new videos just like this one. And let's get right into the video. Alright, so here we are. I'm in Photoshop. I got this cool picture pulled up, and this is going to be the example picture that I show you guys on making selections, okay? So just running down the toolbar from top to bottom, which ones can you make selections with? You can make it with all these: rectangular, elliptical, single row, single column. You can do all that. You can also make them with all the lasso tools. After that, you can make it with any of these selection tools. So as you can see, we're already 4, 7, 10. Already 10 different ones you can make selections from. Okay. Then moving on, in our eraser tools, you can use background eraser to make selections. I'm going to show you that in a little bit here. Then coming down, you can use your pen tools. These ones are awesome for creating curves and shapes that the other ones kind of can't get. That's great for that. And also, besides any of the tools, you can also use channels over here. If you see right next to the layers, you got the channels tab. You can make selections using these, and I'm going to make a whole nother video on that, so check out, or be looking out for that, right? Besides all those and the channels, we got masks we can use to help us with our selections. We got adjustment layers that will help us with our selections. And we can also use color range to help with our selections. I'm not going to show some of those today, but let's just go down the line and show you, starting with the rectangular select tool. You just come easy, boom, rectangular select. You got your selection. You can click on mask, and it's going to do that. You can hold Control I, it'll invert it. Let's click Control Z to undo. That's the same with your elliptical. These two are just, it selects one row of pixels or one column of pixels. So that's that. Moving on, we got our lasso tools. Now Control D is to deselect everything. Control A is to select all, okay? Remember that. Now we're in our lasso tools. Lasso tools are a little more freehand, so if you can see, let's zoom in, say I want to select this. I just hold down on the lasso tool and go around the edge, right? Say that's what I wanted. And when you let go, it makes the selection. So hit Control D to deselect. That's our normal lasso tool. The polygon lasso tool, it has points. So you can click on a point and come up here, click on another point, and just keep going. Now if you ever want to get rid of one point, you just click backspace and it gets rid of the next point, or the last point that you did, right? Also, if you want to make a straight line, you can hold Shift and it'll let you do a straight line. So say we want right this, and then we want something. Okay, so we just make a selection with the points, finish it, click enter, and it makes your selection. So that's the polygon lasso tool. Let's do the magnetic lasso tool. Click Control D to get rid of the selection. Now let's see, the magnetic lasso tool is, sometimes it works awesome, sometimes it sucks. So let's just see. It's just basically You click one point and you let go and just move around the edge, and Photoshop will fill in, where two different colors meet, right? So you can see I'm not even clicking anything. I only clicked down once on that first point, and I'm just coming all around this tree, coming down, making my way around. And once you get to the last point, click on it again, and it makes your selection. You see, it doesn't get in there too good. Maybe if I spent my time a little more and zoomed in a little better, but that's that. I don't really use it too much, but you might find a use for it. So let's Control D, deselect it, and we're moving on to our quick selection tools, right? So we got the object selection tool, magic wand, and quick selection. Object selection tool, you just make a box where the object is, and it zooms in and selects. I mean, it's like, this is kind of like the the magnetic one, magnetic lasso tool, where Adobe does some of the work, so it's not gonna be perfect, but it does a pretty good job if the colors contrast. Like, see how it's a really light background and the green is a different color? It's do pretty good selections when it's like that. So let's just get rid of that. Moving on, we got the quick selection tool. This one you can get pretty good lines with. You just come in, you just go wherever you want selected, and you just make it bigger. You just move around, press down to bring it out, bring your selection out a little more, and it does a little bit of the Adobe doing the work, but it's mostly you. You can come in and zoom in and get closer. You can get down to each pixel if you really want to. Now, say you come out a little too far, right? Come out a little too far, you got all this selected, you don't want it. Well, that's easy. All you got to do is click Alt, hold down Alt, or Option if you're on a Mac, and you're holding down Alt, and it's shrinking the selection. So regular, you can bring it out, right? Alt, you can shrink it and get rid of what you don't want. So remember that, because you're going to be using the quick selection tool quite a bit. I guarantee it. It's like the bread and butter of the selections, right? So now that we got that, it's looking pretty good. Just come to the edge, and like I said, you can come and refine this as much as you want, right? So let's just click Control D to get rid of it. Okay, so now we got the magic wand tool. You just click, and it makes its own selection based on color and highlights and all that. It does its own selection. You can see selected all of that. Let's deselect. Let's try it again. Maybe select here. And you just got to go with what you get. I mean, sometimes you get a decent outcome. Sometimes you don't. Like, see, I hit the tree and it's really not selecting it how I want. Hit that and it selected all this. So as you can see, it works for some things, but I don't usually use it. Moving on, we got the background eraser tool, and this is one of my absolute favorites to use just because it can get those fine edges with ease, right? So let's zoom in. I'm going to show you something here. I'm not going to get too much into the different options up here, discontiguous, contiguous, and tolerance, but I'm going to put a link in the video and the cue card right now. Check that out. It explains all about the background eraser tool. But let's just go ahead and click here. See where crosshair is at? Wherever your crosshair is at, see right here with the little X in the middle of the circle. If I click that, it gets rid of everything that's that color within the circle, right? So see how we got rid of all that easily? We come out here. Now let's zoom in. Let's get rid of all this. And it's looking awesome. Let's go ahead and do this whole thing and show you how to make the actual selection when you're done. So let's get that. Move over. Just make your way around. and it gets it pretty good. I mean, look how fine the edges are. You can even come in here and select all the little parts that you don't want. Now, if it's messing up stuff inside the tree, that's where you're going to have to mess with your tolerance, right? So if I have my tolerance at 64 and I click on this, see how it took out some of the tree? All that green was registered as close to the color that I sampled. So we don't want that. So let's bring our tolerance down. Let's bring it back to 17 where it was at. Now the tolerance is basically how much color is going to be removed depending on your sample color. Now remember, your sample color is whatever you click with this crosshair, right? So I click there, and if your tolerance is way up, it's going to take that color and a lot of colors near it in the color spectrum, right? But if you have your tolerance at 100, it's going to take everything away. It's going to take 100% of the color, okay? So that's a good thing to know if, like, say you got a green here and you want to get rid of just this dark green. See that? It's only getting rid of the dark green because my tolerance is low. If I were to turn it up again, click on that same green, see how it got a lot more out of there? That's just a basic rundown on tolerance. But let's just finish this up. We're almost done. Coming in, got everything we needed. It's looking pretty good. Let's zoom out and see how it's looking. Okay, now we got our tree like that. Okay, we got it all selected around the tree. Say we want this whole background out. I'm going to go ahead and separate the foreground from the background, okay? Okay, now that I got it all separated, I can just come in with the regular eraser and just erase the stuff I don't want, okay? Now remember, this is destructive. If you don't know what destructive and non-destructive are, it basically means that once you erase it, you can't get it back. Now there's another way to do this with masks, where it's not going to be destructive, but I'm just giving a quick tutorial today on the selection tool, so I'm not going to get too much into that. But now you can see we got our whole skyline. Look at how fine the selection is. See how much it came and got in between here? And we could even come and get more in-depth and more precise with it if we want. But for the sake of the video, I'm not going to do that. Now, you got this done, right? You click Control, or you hold Control, click on your image, and it selected it, okay? Okay, now that you got the selection, you can click on the mask button here, and it just makes a mask of it to where you can edit it later if you want. Say you want to take that out, you can just come back with the black, color it in, and it's there, okay? But that about does it for that selection tool. Let's move on to showing you a real quick version of channels, selecting with channels. Let's go to this image for that, okay? We're going to go to channels. Now, once you're in channels, select the red, green, and blue, okay? And see whichever one's, you know, the biggest difference between light and dark. Say we got the blue one. I'm going to select this and get out the sky. Now what you want to do is duplicate channel, click OK, click on the eye so the blue copy is visible, undo this one so you don't see the original blue. Then you're going to want to come up to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and you can mess with the levels here. Try to get the blacks blacker and the whites whiter. That's the key here. Okay. Got the blacks black and the whites whiter. Okay, that's looking good. Click OK. Now once you've done that, you can come to your brush tool, switch the mode to overlay, the blend mode to overlay. You just paint the black parts darker, and you switch to white, paint the whites parts whiter, right? Now that we got it like that, we're going to come back to our layers, or before we go to our layers, we're going to hold Control, click on the blue copy. It's going to make our selection. Okay, now we're going to come to layers and click on Add Mask, and make sure you're selected on the picture that you're using, right? And when you click mask, you can see it separates it. You can click Control I to invert it. And now that you got your mask, this is one thing that you can always do. Remember, the white makes the image come through, the black erases the image. So see here, we got some stuff we don't want. You just paint on it with black. Make sure you're selected on the mask. Okay. And oh, another thing. I always get messed up with this. Turn your blend mode back to normal. If you have it on overlay, it won't let you paint on certain things. So you just come down here, get rid of the stuff you want to get rid of, right? Simple. Really easy. Comment down below if this video is helping you out. If you're learning something, something that you're going to use, let me know in the comments below. Now, another thing, remember, the white brings back the color, so let's hit X to switch back to white. And let's paint this in because it took out some of our fire, and we didn't want that, okay? It's always good to take the white brush and just paint over everything that you're sure you want in the picture, okay? That's looking pretty good for me. I think that about does it. Let me know if you guys thought this tutorial helped you out. Let me know if there's something I could add in it that would help you a little more. Shoot in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Also, if you like the content, make sure to subscribe and smash that like button. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.